Hello and welcome to Mystery Us. I'm Tony Pratt, your host for Mystery Us, and we have some really intriguing guests on the program today. Brett and Gina Oldham of Halo Paranormal. Welcome, Brett and Gina.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. And I asked him about if he still talked to Bob Lazar, and he said that he did, and to this day he still stands behind him and still believes the story.
Right, and Bob Lazar's basic story is that he worked at Area 51 and he was privy to seeing some craft that were pretty much
getting back engineered, basically.
One of them he called the sport model. That was your basic disc shape, and those were either back engineered craft that we had found downed alien craft and tried to figure out and build our own, or it was just an actual craft that we obtained somehow.
Yeah, and or a deal that we made way
to
back.
Share technology.
Yeah, so that's out there as well.
Right. Yeah, a lot of the, I mean, the book, the Day After Roswell, obviously had Colonel Philip Corso talking about how they had this technology that they figured out from the craft, and they gave it to different industries. They just told them it was something they were working on, top secret projects, but they didn't tell them where it came from, and whether they knew or not actually where it came from, I don't know. I haven't really heard any specifics on that. Now, as far as these, okay, before we start talking about the EVPs, I want to talk about photos, because you've got some interesting photos too. One of them is very specific to Nashville. It's taken from Printer's Alley. Now, what's in that photo, and what's that about? And we'll show this stuff, and I'll edit this into the show so that everybody can see it. Just tell us what the Printer's Alley.
Yeah. Gina and I were downtown taking pictures for a different project that we were working for, unrelated to the paranormal, and we had heard the stories about the Rainbow Room. Skull Skullman, the old Hee-Haw character, for anybody that's been in this area for a while probably knows who that is, and even knows about the Rainbow Room. And he got murdered in there, and we'd heard downtown is just full of various lore about the ghost and this story and that story. So we're walking back to our car, and we're just like, well, hey, let's just cut down Printer's Alley and take a few shots and everything. And at that time, there was a lot of businesses that were closed down. In fact, I provided a second picture that we took that shows the alley.
It looked like an alley.
Yeah. There was just no one around. And in fact, we were a little bit worried walking down there that we were going to get mugged or something, because it was just so silent, and you know, who knows what was lurking in the shadows. And we just stayed there maybe 10 minutes and took a few shots outside the entrance to the club, and Gina posed a couple times, and it wasn't really all that serious. Yeah. Because we really didn't expect to capture anything, and that's usually when you do capture something in the paranormal. You know, most of the things that happen, it's usually a fluke. And so we got home, and I don't know, what was it, a day or two later, we were just going through the pictures or something, and I noticed this strange metallic object, molten metal looking thing at the forefront of the picture. We couldn't figure out what it was. I mean, we know from doing paranormal work that you got to watch zippers and camera cords, and you know, a lot of people think they caught a ghost, and they really just took a picture of the camera cord because it's this light flaring off it, that type of thing like that. So we know better than all that, so we knew it wasn't anything like that. And so I brightened the picture up just to kind of get a better look, and when I did, there was actually two ghosts in the picture, full body apparitions. Completely, we didn't see them with our naked eye. They seemed to be oblivious to us, and it was almost like we wrote. This is one of the ones that's in Brad's book, but we called it a moment in time when we wrote the article about it, because it was almost like just capturing a certain, like some kind of time anomaly, because they seemed completely unaware of us. And there's a lady, as you will see your audience will see in the picture, that has her hair pulled back in a bun, and she seems to be carrying a blanket or a shawl on her left arm. Right. And she's walking down the alley and leaning or standing close to the wall, looks like a soldier, you know, in uniform. So we were pretty shocked to find that.
And is he a Confederate or a Union soldier?
I'm not sure
Or is he a modern soldier?
No, he's Civil War. He looked like a Civil War uniform,
Yeah.
and she was certainly dressed. You know, we joke about that with people. It's like, yeah, well, we know people think we're a bunch of hillbillies here, but we still don't go around dressing like the 1800s. You know, so this wasn't anybody in the alley.
Sure.
And I'm glad that we did take a picture of the alley itself, just to show that it was there was just no humans around anywhere. You know, we were just us. So it was an interesting shot. I mean, to catch 2 full-body apparitions like that, and we still to this day have no explanation for the metallic object that's in it.
Right. Now, you also have a picture of a ghost of a little boy. And there's other people in the picture, and they look solid, but the little boy looks translucent, or he looks like a ghost. I mean,
that was taken at the Men's Hotel in Park City, Kentucky. We went there probably about a year ago, and we were invited by another group. Their name is Wolfpack Paranormal, which they're good friends of ours. These were just preliminary photos, and Brett was just walking around. It wasn't even dark yet. But we weren't using a flash or anything like that because we didn't have to at that time. There was a guy in the photo, and he's actually setting up. You'll see him. He's got, you know, cords, and he's unwinding the cords. And behind him is a little boy, and you know, he's very much solid, but at the same time, you can see through him.
right.
And you know, again, like Brett said, it's like when you least expect it. We weren't really even investigating at that time. We were just taking preliminaries. So
Yeah, it's a clear picture. I mean, it doesn't look like mist or anything. It looks like a photograph of somebody.
And it looks like a little boy. And
Yeah.
This hotel was once a school for boys. And I mean, it was a multitude of things in its time, but you know, for it to be a school for boys at one time, and probably back in the 40s and 50s, and this little boy looks very much dressed like you know, a kid at that time, or a little boy at that time would be dressed. So we were excited and pretty shocked.
Yeah.
Because there was no, of course, we don't ever investigate with children, but there was absolutely, you know, no children there at all.
Right.
So
The main thing you do is audio, though. You get the EVPs. What are some of the most interesting or compelling, or I mean, I know it's hard to judge what's most important or the least important. You guys capture so much evidence. It's just you can't. You told me you were backed up 4 months even trying to
Analyze
look at
it. Yeah. Well, the full voice stuff is meaning like we're getting spirit contact that sounds almost as loud as we're talking right now. A lot of times, even sometimes on some of the shows that are on these ghost shows and stuff, you'll see like, you know, they'll get really excited if they catch 2 or 3 EVPs on a overnight
really
investigation,
scratchy, kind of fuzzy
whispery,
sound.
you know, and that's still good evidence. But when you capture full voice, it's you know they have a lot of strong energy to draw from, and it's really hard to dispute for anybody to dispute. See, EVPs will fall within a certain frequency too, and you can run them through frequency analysis and show that it's not a human voice. Sometimes it will overlap. I mean, there is some leeway in that, but I don't know, to pick like, we've got thousands of them.
And the most compelling to me is when we do the spirit box, and we've actually helped out a lot of people that we've known that helped them contact their loved ones who have passed. And when we get, you know, contact from someone that we don't know, and they tell us something that only their relative would know, to me it's very compelling, because we have no way of knowing that, and it's great
We've received information that we've been that we did for sometimes the people aren't with us. We prefer somebody to be with us, but there's been a couple times because we've investigated, and I mean, we do sometimes road trips in Alabama, Kentucky, Ohio, Illinois, and so sometimes, you know, somebody will hear about us and they'll contact us and ask us to do a spirit box, and we do our best, because one of the things that gets lost in ghost investigation, and I think it's a lot to do with television shows, is the respect factor. These are people. They're just in a different form than we are. You know, they at one time were just like us. They had personalities. They loved. They cried. They laughed.
They're just not in Brett, Tony, and Gina mode.
Exactly. And when we go into investigations, you know, we go in with that attitude. And when we're talking with the spirit box as well, we work with a guide. We did find a spirit on that side. His name is Bishop. He comes to us 99% of the time. We use him to help find other spirits. We don't believe that time exists in that dimension, so they are able to, the past, present, future pretty much all exist at once, if you can wrap your head around that. And we use him to find these relatives of people. We tell them the name, and then we'll ask them to say their name when they come forward. But we've got information that's so personal that sometimes if the person's not with us, or if we're later analyzing the audio, like we debate sometimes whether we want to tell them, you know, because we're like, we tell people, if you're going to sit down with a spirit box session, if you have any secrets, you better leave. Because
you're embarrassed.
There could be, you just don't know what could come out, because they seem to know everything about us. Once again, it goes back to being able to not only see us in the present. In fact, one of the clips that we provided for you, with one time we did so many tests, it's just unbelievable on them. But one night we were at home and doing a session, and I didn't have my shirt on, and so I think Gina asked him.
I said, you know, what color is Brett's shirt? And you know, we don't do it to trick, or you know, we're very respectful, like Brett said. So for me, it was just more of a research and evidence kind of thing. You know, I expected them to come back and go, well, he's not wearing a shirt. But instead, you know, we got a response that said, don't trick us. And they seemed like really ticked off by it, so.
Can you repeat that? What color is Brett's shirt that he has on? Can you repeat that? What color is Brett's shirt that he has on?
Yeah, I mean, we've caught a regular EVP, meaning a ghost or spirit that's in the room with us, speaking to us right before we turn the spirit box on. And she says, "Who do you want now?" So she knew that we were getting ready to turn on this device to communicate to the other side, which is pretty remarkable evidence when you think about it.
What about, I mean, I know spirits and ghosts is not everything that's out there. There's other things out there. What are demons? Are demons ghosts? Are they, what are they? How do you address that
The
whole
D word.
demonology question? Yeah.
Well, I don't think Brett and I really believe in demons. I mean, we believe in dark things or dark spirits.
Right.
I mean, basically, if somebody was a bad person in this life,
They're still a bad
they're going to be a
person.
bad person in the afterlife. So I think your personality really carries on with you.
And that's probably why they're scared to go to the other side, because they're afraid there might be consequences or something like that.
I don't think we've ever run into anything, I mean, that we would classify that we could say it was a demon.
Have you found out any information that there is consequences, or that there is, you know, I know one of your questions you were asking, one of the EVPs I was listening to, you were asking about heaven. What's heaven like, and what was the response?
We get a lot.
It's quite a place, I believe, was the one
Yeah,
you were
it's
talking
quite
about.
Can the spirits tell us what is heaven? Can the spirits tell us what is heaven?
We've gotten beautiful, peaceful.
And it's really funny because and all the hours and hours and hours that we've did this, we've never been a word told to us about hell.
Okay.
Heaven,
Lots about heaven.
Lots about heaven, nothing about hell. And going back to the demon thing, what will happen with a ghost, especially if it's somebody that we call them like the dark ones, you know, sort of like, you know, like Star Wars, you know, the dark side or whatever. And what will happen with them will be like they will play on your own fear, and they'll use that against you. So if you're with anybody in an investigation, if you're going to whoever the weakest link is, if there's anybody in there that is one of those types, that's who's going to get it.
Sure.
So because they're going to be able to read that, and we've been told, we've been threatened, we've been told I'm a demon, demonic forces are here, all this stuff because they know that humans fear the demons and fear Satan and everything, and we think that that Satan gets way too much credit in the paranormal,
Right.
way too much. And you know, we're pretty spiritual people. We couldn't do this if we weren't. We do protect ourselves before we.
But you don't look at it as a religious thing per se, necessarily. I mean, exactly. I mean,
there's a religious aspect to it, but as far as dogmatic religion,
no.
probably not.
Yeah.
You know, it's
But
more
it's
of a
more
spiritual.
spiritual.
Yes.
And what is the spiritual component? I mean, maybe some of these people that are, I mean, nobody comes back and talks about hell. Maybe anybody that knows about it doesn't come back. I mean, I don't know.
Well, you would think that if you pass over to that side, that somebody would know something about it.
True.
And
yeah.
and some of these ones that do seem to be darker energies, why aren't they there? You
Yeah.
know? So, and people will tell us, well, you're doing the work of the devil, that
Yeah.
kind of thing like that, which
Yeah.
unfortunately just comes with the kind of work that we do.
Yeah.
But, or they'll say that, you know, you're talking to demons through the spirit box, and we're like, well, if that's the case, then they sure have helped a lot of people because, you know, it's not your. Most people don't expect demons to be helping so many people, and we do. We help people find closure. They know that their loved ones are still in existence, just in a different form. They're actually able, unlike a medium, that they're just telling you what they feel, and there is a lot of them are valid, but in this case, you know, they can actually hear the voice, and they can ask questions themselves to verify. And that usually happens. We encourage that. Ask something that nobody knows except you
Right.
and this person. And usually when we get the answer back, you know, that's when the tears start because they realize that they truly are talking to their loved ones.
And not only does the person get closure, but we also feel like the spirit or ghost will get closure as well, and then they can move on. So
We get approached a lot of times. Spirits will come to us asking for help. I mean, there's a lot of people that have passed over that really need help, like progressing, and it's usually, you know, the cliche of moving into the light, but there really is something to that. And we
Do
try
you
to ease
ever
their fears as well.
Work with mediums or psychics or people like that?
well, who are you thinking of?
Bill, we worked with a medium. We've worked with a medium one time with the spirit box. We'd like to do it more because it's really interesting how it coincides together.
I
Yeah.
don't think we've just, you know, met someone yet that we feel comfortable with and to go, but we're not opposed to it. We're actually very interested
Yeah,
in
I
it.
mean, a medium that we did, we actually went to his house to help because they were having ghost trouble in their house.
Yeah.
And he's still sort of in the developing stages, and he's getting better all the time. But there are some definite locations that we would like to bring, you know, a medium on. Psychics, I don't know. We're not real big on psychics. You know, you have to have a certain amount of psychic ability, I think, to even do this work.
Yeah.
That's, you know, when we go into a location, we're sensitive, you know, to what's going on there. The energy changes in certain rooms and stuff like that. I mean, you do this for long enough, you start, and we open ourselves up. And when we go somewhere, ghosts are everywhere. People need to understand that. I mean, they are everywhere. Some of the places you would just never. It doesn't have to be some old creepy monster-looking house,
Right.
for it to be haunted. Not at all. And there's a lot of just regular places, regular businesses.
Are the buildings haunted or are people haunted more?
It can be both.
Both.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they hang out at a certain place, or is it because they're connected to the people at that place, or is it because they're? It could be either way, I guess. The history of the place.
It could be just the land, even. You know, it might not even be the present building, but they could just be the land, objects. They get attached to a certain object, and we've picked up EVPs like that. I mean, people. Actually, a lady one time it was her dad's chair, and she told us that that's Papa's chair. Matter of fact, they were trying to get you out of the chair that one time during at Spirit Box session.
Yeah, my chair kept rolling back. Rolling back. I'd push it up and it would roll back again.
So all these spirits are not cooperative. I mean, and sometimes you might even make them mad, and they might say a few words that we can't say on television. We can't play those EVPs, but they will be on the net version. Yeah, I believe somebody said your name, Brett, and you responded what, and then basically a voice clearly said, and I don't know if it said it twice or if it's just repeated on the tape, but basically told you what you could go and do.
Yeah, and that goes into the fear factor again. You know, it's the unnice people.
Yeah.
You know, not so nice
Still got the
spirits
same
over there.
personality.
Yeah, and we've put that out to prove that you're not going to get that kind of language on any radio station, and there's another one that's on that clip that I guess will be on YouTube, so we're able to play it. But so those of you that want to hear some really interesting conversation and language, be sure and check out the YouTube.
You don't normally hear on
radio. You're not going to hear this on radio, and you're going to hear two ghosts actually cussing each other out.
Yeah.
We get that a lot. I don't know if people realize that we can hear them arguing amongst themselves. We also get they're talking. We get crosstalk, so they're not always directing it at us. It seems like they're actually arguing on the
Now,
other
if
side.
people want to contact you guys for all things paranormal, you're like Ghostbusters Plus. What's your contact website and email or all that kind of
Go
stuff?
ahead.
Well, they can contact us at our Hotmail account. It's haloparanormal1@hotmail.com.
We'll have it all up on the screen.
And we have a Facebook page, which we're very active on, so they can contact us there. It's just facebook.com/haloparanormal.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for being our guests on Mystery Us, Brett and Gina Oldham.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Tony. Enjoyed it.
That's all for Mystery Us. Thank you.
Are you okay in here? Do you need anything? Are you okay in here? Do you need anything?
Has yours went off?
No, it's pretty much
Yeah.
dead.
Has yours went off?
No, it's pretty much
Yeah.
dead.
You gotta. You gotta.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey Jacob, how are you doing? Hey Jacob, how are you doing?
My name is Gina. What is your name? My name is Gina. What is your name?
Can the spirits tell us what is heaven? Can the spirits tell us what is heaven?
Can you repeat that? What color is Fred's shirt that he has on? Can you repeat that? What color is Fred's shirt that he has on?
Can you say your name, Elvis? Can you say your name, Elvis? Can you say your name, Elvis? Can you say your name, Elvis?